Cumple tus objetivos con el inglés. Un año de inglés con el apoyo de los mejores tutores online. Apúntate en curso de Inglés Online TVE.com y por menos de €1 al día.
Hello again. Question. Do you know Derek? Derek? Yes, I do. I met him yesterday. Do you know Catherine? Yes, Catherine. Yes, I do. I met her last week. Do you know Philip? Yes, I do. I met him a few minutes ago. Do you know? To know is conocer. Ya conocer a alguien. To meet is conocer por primera vez. Literalmente trabar conocimiento. For example, do you know the president of Spain? No, I don't. I have never met him. But do you know the ex-president? Yes, I know him. I know him. Yes, I know him. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I met him 2 years ago. And do you know the president of La France, the president of France? Yes, I do. I met him last year. Yes, I know him. I met him last year. I know him. I met him last year.
Hola y bienvenidos a la clase 134. Ahora vamos a ver la frase. Do you know Derek? Yes, I do. I met him yesterday. ¿Conoces a Derek? Sí, lo conocí ayer. Y ahora nos centraremos en la primera parte de la frase. Do you know Derek? Yes, I do. Do you know to Derek? No. Do you know Derek? Repítelo conmigo. Do you know Derek? Y no, you know Derek. Hay que poner el verbo auxiliar. Do you know Derek? Eso es. Veamos más ejemplos con esa estructura. Do you know my niece? La palabra del día de la clase anterior, niece, sobrina. Do you know my niece? Do you know my nephew? La palabra del día de hoy, nephew, sobrino, nephew. Una vez más, nephew y no nephew, nephew. Muy bien. Do you know my nephew? ¿Conoces a mi sobrino? Y ahora, do you know Derek? Yes, I do. La respuesta corta después. Yes, I do. No, Derek, lo cortamos y decimos solamente yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Hello, it's Mr. Strong, and say hello to these. Mwah, mwah. Okay, well, you know me, right? Do you know me? Do you know me? Yes, you do. Of course you know me. I'm Mr. Strong. Do you know me? Yes, you do. Ya, tenemos que tener cuidado con esto, porque cuando hacemos la respuesta corta solo usamos el auxiliar. ¿Ya? El auxiliar es lo único que hace falta, porque muchos dicen, si yo hago la pregunta, ¿do you know me? Me diráis, yes, I know. No, si usamos el verbo principal tenemos que seguir la frase. No podemos usar o emplear la respuesta corta, que sería, yes, I do, o no, I don't, empleando el auxiliar. Does your sister know me? ¿Tu hermana me conoce? Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Entonces siempre estamos escuchando el auxiliar. Do you know me? Yes, you do. Yes. Do you know that I exercise a lot? ¿Sabéis que hago mucho ejercicio? Do you know that I exercise a lot? Yes, you do. Yeah. You know that I exercise a lot. Ahí tienes los dos. Yes, I do. O yes, you do en este caso. Yes, you do. You know me. Yes, you know me. You know that I exercise a lot. All right? Respuestas cortas, solo con auxiliares.
Ahora vamos a hacerlo un poco más difícil. Hemos visto el verbo to know, que significa saber y conocer. Aquí tenemos la otra traducción del verbo conocer en inglés, que es to meet. We meet someone, conocemos a alguien por la primera vez. We meet someone. We don't know someone. No podemos decir que I know you yesterday. No, I met you yesterday. El verbo to meet, que es, por cierto, irregular. Decimos to meet y en el pasado es met y el participio también es met. Meet, met, met. Entonces, I met him. Yo conocí a él. I met him. Vemos más ejemplos. I met my new boss last week. Conocí a mi jefe nuevo la semana pasada. I met. Y no I know o I knew en el pasado. I met my boyfriend's parents on Tuesday. Conocí a los padres de mi novio el martes. I met. Entonces, practíquelo conmigo. I met you last week. Yo conocí a ti la semana pasada. Muy bien. No podemos decir I know. I met. Eso es.
Good morning, Svetlana. How are you? Yes, it's me. One moment. Hello. It's technology time, of course. I'm just chatting with my friend, Svetlana. You know, Svetlana. I met her on the internet. I met her in the chat room. I meet most of my friends on the internet. I meet most of my friends in the chat room. You know, look at my list. Osvaldo, I met him on the internet. I meet new people every day on the internet. To meet people. Every day I meet. Yesterday I met. Met in the past. I meet new people every day. Conocer a gente. To meet people. Yeah. Osvaldo, Lucas, Esmeralda, I met them all on the internet. Se dice on the internet, in the chat room. The internet is the best. Isn't that right, Svetlana?
Ahora hemos llegado a la última parte de la frase, la palabra para ayer. Yesterday. Yesterday, no yesterday, no. Yesterday. 3 sílabas. Yesterday. Perfecto. Entonces, I met him yesterday. Conocí a él ayer. Decimos siempre en el pasado, simple. I met him, porque pasó ayer. I met him yesterday. Miramos más ejemplos con esta estructura. I saw my nephew yesterday. La palabra del día, nephew, sobrino. Yo vi a mi sobrino ayer. I saw my nephew yesterday. Usamos el pasado simple. Entonces, vamos a ver toda la frase. Do you know Derek? Y no, do you know to Derek? Jamás. Do you know Derek? La respuesta corta, yes, I do. Y no solo yes. Yes, I do. I met him. Y no, I knew him. Jamás I knew him. I met him, porque es la primera vez. I met him yesterday.
Hi, guys. Pues, ¿habéis notado que ninguno de mis compañeros aquí, my workmates here, puede decir correctamente la palabra tan sencilla, yesterday? Es que siempre dicen yesterday y no lo puedo comprender. Claro, yo puedo decir ayer con un acentazo perfecto de castellano. Entonces ellos tienen que decir yesterday. Claro. Oye, fíjate tú en casa. Tú tienes que decir yesterday también, ¿ok? Dilo conmigo. Yesterday y nada de yesterday, ¿ok? Good. Pues os voy a dar un truco mío especial para que nunca vas a olvidar decirlo bien, ¿ok? Vale. Es con sonido de I larguísimo. Dilo conmigo. Yesterday. Ajá. Y nada de yesterday. Una vez más. Yesterday. Bien. Well, yesterday I met a man on the train. Derek. He's fabulous.
How was the exam? Oh, by the way, hello. How was the exam? I found it a bit more difficult than last week's. Okay, vamos por partes. I found it, lo encontré. O sea, el examen lo encontré, este último examen lo encontré un poco más difícil que el de la semana anterior. Escuchad. How was the exam? I found it. Fijaos como la D de found, al final, se enlaza y condurece con la I de it. I found it I found it a bit more difficult. Pelín más difícil o algo más difícil. I found it a bit more difficult, a little more difficult, or a little bit, las dos palabras. I found it a little bit more difficult than last week's, con apóstrofe S, referida a al de la semana pasada. How was the exam this week? How was the exam? I found it a bit more difficult than last week's. ¿Se entiende last week's que el de la semana pasada? Last week's. The exam last week. Okay? Okay.
Hola, bienvenidos a la clase número 134. Y la frase de hoy es I found it a bit more difficult than last week's. Es decir, lo encontré o me pareció un poco más difícil que el de la semana pasada. Y vamos con el primer punto. I found it. Me pareció. To find aquí es un verbo irregular. Every day I find, yesterday I found. Y en este caso está en el pasado simple. Found, que no se dice found, sino found. Fíjate, found y repite conmigo. Found, con la boca bien abierta. Ahora aquí tenemos it después, por lo que enlazamos como si fuera una palabra. I found it, I found it. Por ejemplo, I found it interesting. Me pareció interesante. She found it quite boring. A ella le pareció bastante aburrido. Ahora, ¿cómo se dice en inglés? La clase le pareció muy útil a ella. A ver. Eso es. She found the class very useful. Muy bien, nos vemos en la siguiente.
Yesterday I went to the sales and I found so many good things. For example, I found this scarf. Isn't it beautiful? Half price. I know. And I found this jacket. Also half price. I love it. And I found this. Look. Isn't that beautiful? Half price. Oh, I love the sales. Eso, decimos I found. Y no, I found it. I found. Repeat with me. I found. Perfect. Look at what else I found. This beautiful necklace. 70% off. I can't believe I found it. Oh, and I found shoes. Look at this. These are amazing. Aren't they lovely? I found these 25% off. I was so lucky. What else did I find? Oh, I know. I found this. It's a pig. I mean, I don't know what I'll do with it, but I found it, so I had to buy it. You know, I think the sales were better last year. But, well, sales are sales, and I found lots. What a bargain.
Ahora llegamos a la segunda parte de la frase de hoy. A bit more difficult than. Un poco más difícil que. Y aquí tenemos a bit, que es un poco, más more, que es más, así que un poco más un adjetivo de más de 2 sílabas. Difficult. A bit more difficult. Un poco más difícil. Si solo tuviera una, como por ejemplo fast, sería a bit faster, porque es comparativo. Muy bien, pues ahora, en este caso siendo difficult, ponemos more. Y como comparamos, ponemos than después. A bit more difficult than. Ahora, ojo que no digamos that. More difficult that, porque suena fatal. Es than. Vamos a ver un ejemplo. She's a bit more helpful than her brother. Y aquí tenemos la palabra del día, helpful, servicial o útil. Y otro ejemplo. This one is a bit bigger than that one. Muy bien, nos vemos en un minuto.
Ugh, disgusting, gross. Ugh. There are cockroaches in the place. Yeah, there are cockroaches, and, well, things are a bit messier lately. Yeah, this is going to be a bit more complicated for me because I have a secret to tell you. I'm afraid of cockroaches. Shh. So this situation is going to be a bit more difficult, a bit more complicated, a bit messier, a bit more disgusting than what I'm used to. Yeah, I don't mind blood, I don't mind, criminals, but cockroaches, yuck! Ah! Now, careful, I said a bit more. Another thing was beat. No, it's bit. Bit. Pronúncialo conmigo, porque no es la I latina. No es a bit more, it's a bit more. This situation is a bit more complicated. Yeah, well, if I don't like cockroaches, of course it's a bit more complicated. Oh, man, I think we need to be a bit more careful here, and we need to clean up a little better, because if we clean up, then we won't have cockroaches.
Ahora vamos con la tercera y última parte de la frase de hoy, que es last week's, el de la semana pasada. Y espero que no quieras traducir el de la semana pasada por the last week's, porque suena fatal. Solo decimos last week's usando el genitivo sajón en week con el apóstrofe y la S. Las unidades de tiempo también pueden poseer cosas, por ejemplo, last week's, el de la semana pasada. Ahora, cuidado con la pronunciación de last, que no digas las, sino last, con la T bien marcada. Ahora, vamos a ver unos ejemplos. Which program did you see? Oh, I saw last week's. Is that magazine new? ¿Es esa revista nueva? No, it's last month's. Es del mes pasado. Ahora, ¿cómo se dice en inglés? Este pan es de la semana pasada. A ver. Muy bien. This bread is last week's. Muy bien. Nos vemos en la siguiente clase.
I'm doing Mr. Pilgrim's weekly report, and I have to say it's so difficult. Last week's report was easy. Last week's report took me 10 minutes. This week's report is taking me forever. This week's report has so many different things. This week's report or last week's report, el de la semana pasada, or this week's report, okay? Last week's report, this week's report. Last week's report was easy. This week's report, so long and boring. Last week's report was 1 page. This is like 5. So boring. In fact, yeah, hi, Mr. Pilgrim, it's Steve. Listen, this week's report, it's just too difficult. Yeah, but last week's report was easy. Last week's report was quick. This is so... Mr. Pilgrim? Mr. Pilgrim? Maybe this week's report isn't as important as last week's.
Hello again. Listen, frase curiosa, importante y no tan fácil. They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to. They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to. They wouldn't have, no habrían hecho las paces. Escuchad, they wouldn't have made up. To make up, además de maquillarse, is hacer las paces. Anda, besado sigue, hacer las paces. Kiss and make up, to make up. No han hecho las paces todavía. They haven't made up. Simply make up, hacer las paces. They wouldn't have made up. No habrían hecho las paces de no haberles animado a ello. Escuchad, they wouldn't have made up had I not, de no haber yo. If I had not, es otra forma de decirlo, had I not encouraged them to. Vaya tela. Had I not encouraged them to. Hello again. Listen, difficult sentence. They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to. Oh, a mí me cuesta también. They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to. Yeah. Hicieron las paces. Yeah, pero no lo habrían hecho si yo no les hubiera animado a ello, ¿eh? Yeah, gracias a mí, ¿eh? They made up. They're together again. But they wouldn't have made up. They would not have. No habrían hecho las paces de no haber intercedido yo o intervenido yo para animarlos, alentarlos a juntarse de nuevo. They wouldn't have made up. They wouldn't have. They would not have. Fijaos cómo lo digo yo de corrido. They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. No lo digáis vosotros, ¿eh? Pero así se oye en muchas partes del mundo anglosajón. They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have made up. They wouldn't have made up. They wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Wouldn't have. Aquí es difícil, ¿eh? La fonética inglesa para el oído, cosa difícil. They wouldn't have made up. They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to.
Ole! Hello, amigos. It's a great day in Spain, as always, but my friends seem a little bit disappointed. Decepcionados, disappointed about my party, my Spanish party. But the thing is, there wouldn't have been a Spanish party if I hadn't organized it. There wouldn't have been a Spanish lunch if I, Wayne, hadn't organized it. That's right, there wouldn't have been a party if I hadn't organized it. It's the third conditional. There wouldn't have been a party if I hadn't organized it. But, you see, Margaret was upset. She said she wouldn't have come if she had known there would be olives, because she hates olives. No Spanish person hates olives. Margaret. And Zach said that he wouldn't have come if he had known there would be ham, because he hates ham. Who hates ham? Ham is wonderful. Now, you would have come, right? Come on. You're Spanish. You would have come if I had invited you, right? Wouldn't you?
Hi again. Yeah, remember, they wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to, eh? Me, eh? I am the catalyst en su reconciliación. O sea, habían roto y ahora han hecho las paces. Yes. To make up has many meanings, but to make up means hacer las paces, reconciliar entre amantes o entre amados, entre lo que sea. To make up. De hecho, hay una frase hecha en inglés muy corriente. Kiss and make up. Anda, besaos y hacer las paces. Reconciliar. Okay, so they wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to make up. They wouldn't have made up. They wouldn't have made up. Okay, the word of the day. En este caso, un verbo compuesto. Phrasal verb. To take over. To take over es apoderarse del gobierno por derrocamiento. We're going to take over the government. Pero más bien se dice en otros contextos también. Es te relevo de tus funciones. I'll take over for you. No te preocupes. Yo me ocupo yo de momento. Descanse un poco y luego vienes. I'll take over for you. To take over.
Hi guys, Felicity here. It's time for Felicity's tip of the day. Okay, so my tip of the day is always make up with your friends. Oh guys, I'm not talking makeup, no. Make up, become friends again. Always make up with your friends after you've had an argument. Friends are very important and you should always make up with your friends. Okay, repeat with me. You should always make up with your friends. Excellent. Say, even if we've had a fallout, even if we've had an argument, I always make up with my friends. Oh, perfect. Well done. I'll give you an example. Last week, Wayne Spain said he wasn't going to go to a bullfight with me because he wanted to go with his Spanish friends. So I called him a tall buffoon. But afterwards, I said sorry. And we played Scrabble and we made up. We're friends again. We made up. Phew. And yesterday, George said he didn't want to play board games with me. So I called him a weirdo. But then we made up. Friends are important because friends are fun, fun, fun.
They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to. The verb to encourage is animar, alentar. Sí puedes, sí podéis reconciliar, por favor. I was encouraging them. But they wouldn't have made up if I hadn't encouraged them to. El to, como un apéndice al final ahí, colgado, se entiende to make up. Make up se entiende. They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to make up. Pero no hay que repetir make up, se dice el to, se deja el to. They wouldn't have made up had I not encouraged them to. ¿Y por qué digo had I not? ¿Por qué no digo if I hadn't? Los dos valen. Y en castellano tenéis dos formas. Si no les hubiera animado, o de no haberles animado, o sea, tenéis en castellano también las dos formas. Y decimos, if I hadn't encouraged them, or had I not encouraged them. If I had known, or had I known. If he had seen, or had he seen, both are very common and both are very correct. Had I not encouraged them to.
Well, it's that time of year again where we have to announce the employee of the month. The employee of the month gets an award. And this month it goes to it goes to Harriet. It goes to me. The employee of the month, of course, it goes to me. I mean, hello. So I'd like to give a few words, give a small speech, but I only have half a minute, so I'm going to have to speak pretty clearly. So, first of all, I'd like to thank, of course, myself, but I mean, apart from that, had it not been for all the important people in my life, I wouldn't have been able to get this award. That's right, say it with me. Had it not been for all the important people in my life, I wouldn't have received this award. So that's true, but also, had it not been for my excellent managerial skills, had it not been for the way that I encourage my staff, had it not been for the way that I motivate my team, well, this hotel wouldn't be what it is. Had I more time, well, I would thank more people, but that's all I've got time for.